Hello everybody and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. So last time, we aged up for what I think is the final time. We're 17 now, we're almost 19, it's almost the end. We also lost Sim, but I was told to go out during wet and I might find something. So maybe he's okay, maybe not, I really hope so. So we're gonna have to do that. And also, Lum is getting more stupid. I didn't think that was possible and yet it seems to be happening. He ruined my birthday party, and I don't think I'm ever gonna forgive him for that. Not that I liked him in the first place anyway, but yeah, we need to get started. I think we're gonna do a lot of stuff in the colony for Dust, just because I probably want to raise up my skills a little bit. I'm thinking creativity and biology and engineering? Yeah. And then we can... I was specifically told that during Glow is when we can sneak out to look at the wormhole like Sim suggested. So I think in the very last season of Wet, we're going to relax and then we're going to go out. That's the plan. Let's get started. I'm going to see if I can gift people stuff. Oh! It was her birthday, and now she wants to talk to me. You spot Nem halfway up the garrison watchtower, her legs wrapped around the scaffolding as she cranes to look over the fence through a pair of holoculars. You clear your throat, and she peers down at you and waves. Yavi, come on up here, I want to ask you something. You clamber easily up the scaffolding. Nem gives you a high five. Here, look through these, Nem says, shoving the holoculars in your hands. You raise them to your eyes and look where she's pointing. A long ways out, much farther than the expeditions are going, you spot a dark humanoid shape moving through the towering fungal forest. See him? Nem asks. It's Dees, I swear it is. He's always sneaking out over the walls. We're allowed to now, so what? Nem stares at you. So what? She repeats, aghast. He's gonna get in trouble. Only if you tell on him. Well, yeah, Nem stutters, but someone should. The adults say we're not supposed to go outside the colony unless it's on an expedition, Nem says, taking the holoculars back and looping them around her neck. And Dees just goes whenever he wants. What if he gets hurt? What if he dies? She wrinkles her nose. What if he picks up a weird alien disease and comes back with 3 heads? Listen, Nem, I love you. I know that you're just like worried or you want to make sure he's not going to get hurt or more likely you just don't want anyone to get in trouble. But Dees has been sneaking out for way longer than you'd think. And so have I. We're fine. Kind of. Not mentally, but physically. Nem scratches her cheek where acne's made her skin dry and sore looking. Ow, she mutters as bits flake off. I just don't know what to do about it, she says. What do you think? Stay out of his business. I can't do that, Nem pouts. As the strongest kid in the colony, I gotta protect all the other kids. The colony's got rules for a reason, Nem says, staring off into the wilderness. If we do our own thing and don't care about the rules, we're all gonna be toast. Kinda like a sports ball team. We're all doing different stuff, but we gotta play by the same rules so we can get as many points as we can. Anemone! Yavi! You look down at the ground where a passing colonist is waving up at you. You two get down from there, it's not safe. Okay, sorry, I'm on watch, Nem shouts back, indicating with her holoculars. She shoots you a smile. I guess we should get inside the watchtower, huh? You both climb the rest of the way to the guard platform. Nem heaves herself over the edge and reaches down to help you up, and you notice that her hands are all banged up and scabbing over with blue scales, probably from scampering all over the place the way she does. She notices you looking and laughs awkwardly. She runs a hand through her fluffy hair. Maybe if I get beat up enough, I'll have so many scales I won't have no more acne, she jokes. I have a feeling that I was supposed to get that cutscene with her earlier, but I just didn't. Oh, want to study together? You offer to help Tangent with her schoolwork, but she just shrugs you off. I'm not working on school anymore, she says. Chief Engineer Instance says I'm smart for my age, and my talents are wasted in school. She opens her holopalm and shows you some of her lab notes. Oh, it's so much work, though, she complains. Honestly, maybe it would be better to be like everyone else. Unintelligent people seem happier. Just then, Nem jogs by with a squad of soldiers all marching in time. She gives you a little wave, then cringes as the leader barks at her to keep her eyes forward. Tang shudders. On second thought, forget what I said. I'll keep being smart, thank you. Probably for the best. I don't want to be a soldier either. Oh? Mars and Nomi are bent over one of Nomi's sketchbooks. Mars is talking animatedly with expansive hand gestures. Nomi is nodding along and taking notes. No, 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 Mars exclaims. This neckline needs bolder lines, and down here, lots and lots of extra fabric. And make this part gold. I want it to scream. I don't have to work like everybody else. I'm only here to look beautiful and have people adore me. But we do have to work, Nomi pouts. Nanoprinting's restricted for these kind of materials. It costs kudos. Mars rolls her eyes. That's the point. Nomi huffs. Not everyone's got as many kudos as you, Marzipan, especially us Helios. We didn't have any at all when we landed. If we want to wear something other than uniforms, I usually trade or mod old clothes instead of printing new ones. Mars looks appalled. You trade clothes? You don't even sell them for kudos? Nomi shrugs and tucks their hair behind their ear. It's just, some kids can't afford to print this kind of clothing, right? So you're losing out on them as potential customers. So maybe instead you could design clothes that are pretty, but also made from common materials so everyone can have them? Nomi smiles brightly. Then maybe when you're in charge, you can get rid of kudos entirely. It doesn't seem right that we trade kudos for extra stuff when we're all supposed to only have what we need anyway. Nomi packs up their sketchbook and leaves, and Mars turns to you with a thoughtful look. Oh, Nomi doesn't know what I was the one who started selling things for kudos in the first place. My dad keeps saying I shouldn't do that because hoarding kudos and treating them like currency will cause, she makes quotation marks in the air with her fingers, wealth inequality. Do you think they might be right? Nomi's right. The Helios are broke. Oh, Mars says, tapping her chin. I mean, I knew the Helios were tragic, but I just thought they had terrible taste, you know? The uniforms and the haircuts. I didn't know it was because they were poor. I don't really think that kudos makes everything unequal, Mars continues. Like, you can always work harder if you want something nice, right? That's what I do. Mars looks genuinely troubled. It's great that we have everything we need, well, as long as there's not a weird disease or famine or whatever, but we're still poor, you know? She sighs. We're poor in culture. Like, yes, every colonist has a steaming pile of mashed trippet every morning, noon and night, but what if I want to watch a holovid I haven't seen a million kajillion times? Mars puts her hands on her head. When we only focus on survival, who's making the holovids and the symphonies and the gourmet food? It reminds me of the thing from WALL-E, where the A113 is, not A113, the autopilot, where he's like, don't you want to survive? And then the captain's like, I don't want to survive, I want to live. That's what I think Mars is talking about right here. She throws her arm in the air and shouts, we have everything we need, but we're poor. Poor people don't care about art. Mars snaps her fingers. No. I've got it. I'm a genius. If the adults won't incentivize the creative class, we need to do it ourselves. We need to get the adults on board with adopting kudos and using it to pay for luxury goods. Instead of slaving away in the depot or kitchens, people like Nomi could be artisans. She grabs you by the shoulder. If we have an actual creative class, maybe we could get some culture on this stupid rock. You know, that actually isn't that bad of an idea. I can't believe I never thought of this before, she says, clearly possessed with a beautiful vision. I'm the richest teenager in the colony, but what good is it if there's nothing to buy? Here I am, sitting on more kudos than I could ever use, and I could have been using it to kickstart the creative economy. I could be a patron of the arts. Mars releases you and pulls up the finances screen of her holopalm. You catch a glimpse of her balance, which is more kudos than you've ever made in a year, at least. Yes, good, Mars says, thinking out loud. More than enough to start. She looks at you. Well, Yabby, she says imperiously, you'll join me, right? Let's give away some kudos. Take 100! I don't use it anyway. Mars's eyes go wide as she sees 100 kudos land in her account. Oh, Daddy, she laughs, fixing you with a wicked smile. I didn't know you were so generous. Here's more where that came from, baby. Mars throws her head back and laughs, delighted that you played along. Oh, aren't you fun, she says. Ooh, but I think that's a good idea. Because all it is right now is soldiers. And while the expeditions and the farms are important, I think also having artisans and stuff is also important. You need to create a culture and just, like, give people stuff to be passionate about. I think a lot of it is that people are so exhausted with surviving. They need some time to relax, you know? Maybe that's just me. Alright, speaking of relaxing, I am going to start with creativity. What can I do? Which is, this one gives more creativity, I think. Yes. You can't practice all the time. When you're not making music, you enjoy long walks through the colony to help you find inspiration for your next piece. Like that tree, or that broken ladder. There's not a lot around the colony you haven't seen yet. True, we could be inspired by Sim and his sacrifice. Unless he's alive. But how the hell would he survive that? I don't know. There we go. Oh, I forgot about this. This year's Virtunalia is ushered in with a big military band. Ugh, horns and drums, supplemented by recordings of parade music from Earth. Governor Lum strides out of command on a grand red carpet and ascends the stage to something applause. Thank you, everyone, he calls out over the din. Look at you. Look at this colony. Finally, truly united. That's not true. All it took was a common enemy, he declares. I look at you beautiful people, you strong people, you good human people, and I see a fire in your eyes. I see courage in your hearts. I see a colony that's ready to win. I see a colony that's here to stay. Vertumna, do you hear me? He raises his arms and roars. Do you hear me, Vertumna? We humans aren't going to hide anymore. Lum gestures for Chief Security Rhett to join him on stage, then continues. The original fugitive colonists got it wrong. In Roman mythology, Vertumnus wasn't the god of cultivation, not of rampant chaotic growth. He clenches his hand into a fist. We need to clear the field before we can plow it. Vertumna won't be safe for human life until the aliens are eradicated. Rhett crosses his arms and nods in agreement. Maybe there's more to this plan than Lum is letting on. Oh, I don't like that at all. Lum descends from the stage and does a receiving line of handshakes and fist bumps. In the vacuum left by his presence, Chief Administrator Sieg takes the podium and clears his throat. Ahem. I want to announce that this will be the last year the festival contest will be held. Ah, whatever. The sound of protest rises up from the crowd, and near the front, Lum just shrugs theatrically and mouths, "Not my fault." Sieg looks down at him pointedly, then continues. This war will use our colony resources at a tremendous rate, including the most valuable, time. Lum takes the stage again and soothes the crowd. I do have some good news, he declares. Starting today, the colony will be granting requests from people who want to have children. A happy murmur burbles through the crowd. Yes, that's right. It's time to start on the next generation of Vertumnans and secure a future for our children. Lum pumps his fist in the air. Humans, humans, humans. Anyway, about this war on nature. I think it's stupid, Cal says immediately. I know survival is important, but we don't have to kill things to survive here. Mars rolls her eyes. Duh, of course you'd think that, she mutters. Personally, I think Lum is a total nullhead. He's not that much older than me. What is he, like 24? And everyone listens to him? She flips her hair over her shoulder. They should listen to me instead. Honestly, I'd rather listen to Mars. At least she's not trying to kill everything. Finally, you're all called to participate in the games. The last ones. Maybe forever. If this war on nature ends, you'll probably be an adult. As your friends all separate into their usual games, you realize that this may be the last time that you just get to be kids. What do you choose? What can I raise? Trivia, talent show, Xeno wrangling. Organizing, trivia, reasoning is pretty high. Persuasion could do with some work. Because it's not, but combat definitely needs work. Let's do Xeno wrangling. Oh, god damn it. The crowd goes silent as the ranchers bring out the most dangerous animal the games have ever seen. A fully grown manticore. What? It roars and thrashes its mane, stalking around in a circle on the lead hammered into the ground. It's got a muzzle on, Vase complains. I bet its claws are filed down. Chief Rhett, this isn't a challenge. On the sidelines, Rhett just shrugs and spreads his hands. Vase and Nem go before you. Vase is an accomplished wrangler and manages to wrestle it to the ground easily by mounting it and looping around behind the joints of its claws, pulling them behind the manticore's back. Nem manages to do the same thing, but it's a struggle. She limps out of the ring with a wrenched shoulder as the wranglers free the manticore again. It snaps its claws and grins hungrily. Alright, well, let's see what we can do. If we have to push through, we'll push through. Because, oh goodness. +1 to a card. Let's see. Let's see. What can we do? +1 to a card. No. Get there. There we go. Alright, not bad, not bad. 8, 5, 5, 2, 2. There we go. Not bad at all. This is a wild freaking manticore, one of the most dangerous beasts on Fortuna. Something that could never be tamed, and they want you to wrestle it? No problem. You're offered the choice of implement. You choose an electrified baton, and it's a good thing that you do. The manticore swipes at you, fatigued but still ferocious, and you give it a few jolts. When it begins to show fear, you come in close and deliver a few more to its soft underbelly. It roars in pain and confusion. The crowd roars in bloodthirst as you force the manticore into submission, especially the Helios. You aren't sure if they were rooting for you or the manticore. After the festivities, everyone is supposed to take a few days vacation. You and your friends relax, but the adults move around the colony like ants in a hive, fortifying the walls and preparing for the human offensive against the planet. I don't like that. I don't like that. I also don't like that I just fought a manticore. Ooh! Shop close! Hang on, Rex. Shop close. Ooh! Okay, draw 1 extra card, plus 30 bravery, plus 10 to all skills. Oh, that could be good. To all of those? Plus 5 empathy, bonus to straights. Let's get this one. That's worth the money. And let's see, what can I get rid of? All of these are good though. Let's take this off for now and keep that, just to see. Alright, what's up, Rex? You're looking for Rex by the construction site, but Rex finds you first. Tackle hug! You turn to the source of the yell. Rex is barreling towards you, arms outstretched. You have about 2 seconds to decide how to react. Leap into his arms! You ready yourself to launch into his embrace, catching a glimpse of Rex's delighted smile as he scoops you up in his strong arms. He lifts you off your feet and swings you around, laughing. Hey, yo, Yabby, Rex exclaims. He holds you easily against his chest. What's a good person like you doing in a place like this? You're the good boy, Rex. Oh, shucks, Rex laughs. He sets you down gently on your feet. You got me. It's me. I am the good boy. You think you're starting to understand this strange Helio boy and his love for hugs? So, Rex asks, crossing his arms. Were you looking for me? What'd you need? Let's do something fun. Rex tilts his head to the side. Like what? Do you want to skip work and hang out? Rex looks turned. Oh, man, he groans. Normally, yes, for sure, but I'm actually super stoked to work on the build today. He jerks his thumb towards the construction project behind him. If you want, you could come see what we're working on. Oh, is it the bar? Rex takes you on a tour of the construction site. He's great company, and basking in his excitement is a pleasant way to spend the afternoon. When you wave goodbye to him so he can get back to work, you feel a little bit lighter. Aww, I couldn't help it. I really wanted to just jump into his arms. He just seems like the type of dude that would always be fun to get a hug from. Alright, next, I'm going to do engineering, because that is way too low. Probably also want to do combat too, but I hate going in there. Let's see. Engineering. You and Nomi are doing independent study after hours when they stand up from their beanbag chair and do a little victory dance. Yes! They shout. It worked! Look, Yabby! They throw something onto your holoscreen. The intro for the game QQ Bio Shonen Kyutsetsu comes up on screen, and Congruence's full-room holoprojectors decorate the walls with a blue sky and rolling green hills. Peppy battle music fills your ear. Nomi claps their hands proudly. I installed it on the classroom mainframe, they exclaim. It's so much faster. There's no latency at all. Suddenly, the lights go out. Nomi screeches and hangs onto you in the dark. The lights flicker back on, but only for a few seconds at a time before going dark again. The temperature drops. The holoprojectors no longer display the lush meadows, but instead a ramshackle wooden cabin with various horrible implements hanging on the wall. Hello, children. Oh no, Nomi moans. I must have installed it into Congruence's memory. She's being affected by the game code. Congruence's holoprojection screen appears in the middle of the room. She's facing away from you, but when she slowly turns around, you're horrified to see that her face is smeared away and featureless. Do you want to play? No! Nomi grabs you by the arm as you try to leave. Yabby, they beg, bowing deeply. Please, play with me. I'm too scared to play alone. All right, I won't leave you alone. Oh God, An unnatural growling noise fills the room. Nomi squeaks and hides behind you, but it doesn't matter. The noise is everywhere, surrounding you. Congruence's hollow-projected form flickers and becomes a shaggy manticore with glowing eyes, and then it's gone. A howl echoes off the walls. The hunt is on. You and Nomi fight your way through Congruence's hollow-projected nightmare, encountering beasts the likes of which you've only seen in books from Earth. They stalk you through misty forests and trap you in dark, dank-looking cellars. They scream and moan and cry and howl. You've never been so scared of a hollow game. It feels so real. I didn't make this, Nomi says, their chests heaving as they look around for the next creature. This isn't even the game I installed! Congruence's manticore reappears, a ghoulish apparition. Is this what you wanted? No, Nomi screams. Yabby, what do we do? Fix Congruence. You use your holopalm to access Congruence's system files. It's not, strictly speaking, allowed, but neither is installing a game software into her brain. After a few minutes of hacking, you realize something doesn't add up. There's no trace of Nomi's game here. Congruence is a massively intelligent being. There's no way she would have allowed her base programming to be manipulated like this. The lights flicker back on, and Congruence's hollow projection smiles cheerfully. You solved my puzzle, she chirps. Congruence, you scared the shit out of us! And plays a recording of cheering and clapping. I thought simply telling you not to install an unapproved software would be boring, she continues. You'll certainly remember this lesson. I guess that's true. Nomi clutches their chest. Yeah, for sure, they say. I'm never doing that again. Oh, God. You know, when you want kids to learn, just fucking traumatize them. There we go. Sorry, I went quiet again. Alright. Next. What should we do? We got engineering up a little bit. Probably... Combat? Could be useful, considering what's about to happen soon. I don't know what freaking Lum has planned, but it's not gonna be good. Oh? You had plans to hang out with Cal today, but when you arrive at the Geophonics Dome, it's worryingly dark inside. You fumble around in the red emergency lighting until all the lights come back on with a heavy ka-chunk of a breaker being flipped. You blink into the sudden blinding light until the figures of Cal and Chief Engineer Instance resolve themselves in your vision. Absolutely no more of that, young man, Instance scolds Cal as he cradles a hoverboard in his arms. The power grid is not your plaything. I understand, Auntie, Cal says. I'm sorry. Instance mutters to herself as she passes you. Honestly, all this over a toy. Hey, bud, Cal greets you. Sorry, I meant to meet you outside after work, but... He looks down at his hoverboard. My board wouldn't start, and I figured it was maybe out of juice, but when I plugged it in, it threw off all these sparks, and then the whole power grid shuts down. Cal's shoulder slumps. I was gonna ask Dr. Instance to take a look at it, but she told me she doesn't have time to fix a dumb toy. I'll take a look at it. Well, okay, Cal says slowly, handing over the lifeless hoverboard. I guess you are pretty good at fixing things. You open up the hoverboard and poke around in its guts for a little while. After about 20 minutes of fruitless prodding, you have to admit defeat. You're like 75% sure you know what's broken, and 0% sure you know how to fix it. In fact, you think you might have made it worse for trying. Whoops. You hand over the hoverboard back to Cal, who cradles it sadly in his arms. Thank you for trying, Yabby. I really appreciate it. It's always kind of sad when a piece of old technology needs to be retired, but Cal seems to take this one harder than most. He hugs the hoverboard to his chest and excuses himself, not waiting to hear your goodbye. Aww. Adulthood is being forced upon us. Apply for guard duty. I will not. I will do... Defense training. You and Nem are practicing judo moves, chucking each other onto semi-deflated poof shrooms which have been set up like mats. You're learning to throw, but also fall properly without getting hurt. It's pretty fun. The enormous mushrooms are surprisingly springy and bounce you right back up. I'm gonna do something funny. You yell cannonball and tuck into the ball for a maximum bounce. Nem braces herself, but the shockwave from your jump sends her high into the air. She can't stop laughing as your training dissolves into a game of how high you can bounce each other. You're technically still learning how to fall safely, you're just having fun while you do it. It's nice to hear her laughing like a kid again. Aw, I bet. Poor Nem. I still really hate that she's hanging out with Vase. I know I sound like a jealous girlfriend or something, but like, come on. I don't think he's good for her. And a lot of you guys in the comments seem to agree. Oh, did we get our first perk? Ah, they're right next to each other. New perk! Shop weapons. Ooh. Oh, they give you a gift. You spot Rex carrying supplies and big pieces of wood into the construction site at the end of the lounge, the future home of his bar. He waves at you. Well, as much as he can wave with his arms full of mushwood. Hey, Abby, he calls out to you. Things are going great in here. Thanks to you, it'll be done in no time. You take a look at what you can see. Rex has kept all of this pretty tarped up and hates letting people inside to peek, but you can tell it's big. Perhaps a little too big. Ambitious, maybe, for a first solo construction progress. But Rex has a lot of help from his crew and from the whole colony. He'd have to be able to find enough wood. I'd love to see it. Rex shifts from foot to foot. Well, he sighs, biting his lip, but you get the sense that he's dying to share it with someone. Okay, he says, but just for you. You follow him into the tent. It's chaos inside, littered with pieces of mushroom of varying lengths and covered in fine sawdust. Light coming through some gaps in the tent pick up all the little sparkling motes of dust in the air, making it almost seem magical. Rex spreads his arms. Well, this is it, he says. Well, so far. We have a bar and a dance floor. That's all you really need. He swipes open his holopalm and starts playing some music, then shimmies over to the only clear spot in the mess. That must be the dance floor, you figure, because he starts wiggling and bopping along to the music, gesturing for you to dance with him. Dance with him! Rex cheers as you join him on the dance floor. He grabs your hand and spins you around, and you laugh and dance to the music coming from his holopalm. Moving your body just for the sheer joy of it feels amazing. You can see the future of this place. A place where people come not only because they're stressed and need to relax, but where they can really cut loose and enjoy themselves. Rex has the right idea. Rex comes over to you and slings you into a one-armed hug. Just seeing you makes me super energized, he says. I can almost hear the music now. That's right, the bar's gonna have live music. You know anyone who plays an instrument? I'm gonna work double time to finish this place. If you want to help, bring me all the mushwood you can find. I will. Okay, so it's wet now, and I was specifically told by somebody to survey the plains. So that's where we're going. If I see anything, I'll let you know. Wait. Oh! Wait a minute! He's okay! How the fuck? Sim! Sim! It's you! You're taking a sample at the base of a tree when you feel something patter off of your head and fall to the ground. It's a nut? That's strange. This species don't usually... You look up and your stomach lurches when you realize you've been watched this whole time. A pair of familiar eyes looks down at you from the branches. It's Sim! He grins down at you. Well, 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 if it isn't the little human. Have you come to visit me, Sugarbug? But I saw you die! Did you? He says slyly. You'd think I would remember that. If you did witness my death, I apologize, Sim continues. He leans down from his branch, his long hair dangling just out of reach. I imagine I didn't enjoy it much either. So you can come back to life? Let's finish our unfinished business. You pout at Sim, trying to look kissable, but he just stares out and down at you, uncomprehending. My apologies, he says, but I'm not entirely certain what you mean. What business? So he doesn't remember anything about what happened? You really don't remember? Sim's lips form an even thinner line. I'm afraid I don't. Did I offend you in some way? Death has a way of wiping the slate clean. He gives you a little smile. It's me. I'm the slate. Embarrassment burns in your guts. You can't find the words to explain the moment you shared on the cliff. How can you just die and come back? It's a gardener thing, he replies dismissively. He's so casual about it. I make regular backups just in case. Backups? Sim gives you a little smile. Surely by now you know I cannot divulge the specifics of my role here. Doesn't stop you from hinting. Sim's smile grows wider and he trills with laughter. Oh, I know. Having a secret is much more gratifying than I expected it would be. I'm happier alive? Sim sighs gratuitously. I wish everyone felt that way, he mutters. One of my associates seems to feel otherwise. At your confused look, he waves his hand. One of the other gardeners. Noctilucent. They don't really care for you humans, I'm afraid, and they're aware I've taken an interest in you. With a soft whump, Sim drops gracefully out of the tree and dusts himself off. He claps you on the shoulder. I'd watch out for them, if I were you, he says. They're quite dangerous. Sim turns to leave, but you sputter and grab his sleeve. You can't, after all that. You deserve some answers, real ones. He owes you that. He turns to you, one arched eyebrow raised. What is it, Gabby? Are you really Sim? The one and the same, Sim answers, carefully prying your hand from his clothing. I acknowledge this is difficult for you to understand. He takes a deep breath, considering his words carefully. Humans have but one short window of consciousness, which encourages you to think of yourselves as individual points on a line of history. You are quite clearly not your parents, or your grandparents, or your unborn children. You are your own marvelous creature. He places his hand on his chest. I do not disappear when this form dies. I am eternal, in a sense. I am all who came before me. I am all who will come after me. I am my own legacy. I am symbiosis. I want to kiss you again, though. What do you really do here? Sim gives you a blank smile. I am a gardener, he says simply. I was created to be a gardener, and I imagine I will be one until my services are no longer required. At your look of confusion, Sim softens. Humanity is so concerned with purpose, he says sadly. It is because you were not created for one, and you spend the entirety of your short lives under the impression you need one. The concept of someone having a purpose must be seductive. He shrugs one elegant shoulder. My existence is simple. I act in the ways for which I was created. That is not an interesting answer for an individualistic species as yourself, I am aware. Perhaps we must both accept that it may be beyond the human capacity to comprehend. He tilts his head to the side, as if listening to something, and squeezes your hand. I fear I have said too much. I hope I can see you again soon, and that all may be revealed to you. I hope so. Maybe we have to go through the wormhole. I know didn't he say something similar to that when we were talking about the wormhole and how I need to sneak out and see it? Because we're gonna do that. Maybe that'll help us with our relationship with Sim. Oh, I'm just so glad he's alive, though. Scared the shit out of me. Thank you in the comments for telling me to go to the plains, because I probably wouldn't have with otherwise. Well, eventually to grab more stuff, but you know. Ayy. Alright, so we have one more month, and then we're gonna relax in the last month of Late Wet. And from there, we'll see what we can do. Oh. You arrive outside the garrison just as you spy a small unit of young Helio trainees finishing their daily run on the colony. Vase is easily in the lead. You swing yourself up onto the fence and watch as the group breaks up into pairs for the next drill. As the unit leader, Vase, goes around and corrects everyone's form and checks in on them before he spots you and trots over. What's up, colony kid? He says, wiping his forehead. His training shirt clings to his chest, damp with sweat and showing off his muscles. Missed you out there today. You should come for a run sometime. I might join you. Vase tilts his head at you, taking in your unimpressive physique. Yeah, good idea, he teases. You could use the extra training. Been trying to get the other colony kids out there, Vase continues. On the Helio, we were raised to believe that physical exertion does more than build muscles, helps you think more clearly, and boosts your immune system too. He clenches his fists. Not only that, but it strengthens the bond between brothers. It turns men into heroes. Sounds like propaganda. Vase looks like a hero, you think. Even just standing there, he has the same kind of presence as action heroes in the old Vits from Earth. He's so confidently in his element that everything he does looks effortless. You can't imagine him skinning his knee, or having his voice crack, or tripping over his feet. All three of which have happened to you this week. We were fine before you got here is not true. I am not flirting with him, but I am glad they're here. At least, Nomi and Rex. So I'm gonna pick this one. Glad you guys are here now. Vase shrugs. Just doing our duty for humanity. Vase picks up his water bottle and takes a big swig, rinsing out his mouth before spitting into the dirt. Not everyone's cut out to be a soldier, he says. I mean, where would we be without people like Tangent giving us the intel we need? He shrugs. Anemone's pretty cool. She's got the right idea. And Cal, that guy, he's got muscle, but... Vase shakes his head with a snort. Honestly, you all lack the discipline. Says the asshole. Even when I'm trying to be nice to you, you make me angry. Annoyed, frustrated, irritated, cheesed. Let me see if I can raise my toughness a bit, actually. I think that would be good. Maybe we could get our first perk from that. And the best way to do that is in here. Shovel dirt, baby! Cal calls out as you're walking through geophonics. Yabby, hold up! He jogs over to you. Have you ever thought about working on the farm? I really need some more people, especially if they already know some stuff about plants. Can you help, please? I'm ready! Cal lets out a huge sigh of relief. Oh, good, he says. Just come by whenever you have time, okay? Like today could work, or tomorrow. Alright, I'll remember that. Not tomorrow, though, because I have to relax before I sneak out and do something probably very stupid. Just, you know, dangerous things. Perfect. Alright. Oh, and we got our first perk. Perfect. What is it? +1 to physical cards. Ooh, I like that. Oh! You can't find Deese outside the walls, even though the duty roster has him working on the expedition vehicles today. After asking around, one of his crewmates points you to where she'd seen him disappear into the forest just 10 minutes ago. You thank her and set off into the wilderness. You've picked up a few things about tracking after hanging out with Deese for so long, so you follow his trail into the nearby mushwood forest until you hear him, speaking calm and slow. Shh, it's going to be okay. Just let me help you. You follow his voice and find him kneeling on the ground next to a wounded Hawkeye. The scent of blood and animal fear colors the air. Deese's knife glints as he pulls it from its sheath. Don't worry, he says to the creature. I've got you. It won't hurt anymore. Real soon. A branch snaps under your foot, and Deese's head jerks up. His eyes go wide, but he doesn't greet you. Instead, he gestures for you to get a closer look at the Hawkeye. Its single leg is mangled beyond recognition from a hunter's snap trap, and it's bleeding heavily. It can only stare up at Deese, defeat in its 4 eyes. It struggles once more, then goes still from the exertion, wheezing miserably. They tell everyone they're humane traps, Deese murmurs, but humans lie, don't they? They lie all the time. The hunters won't be back to check on the traps until tomorrow, Deese continues, looking down at the Hawkeye with a grim expression. I have to put it out of its misery. It's the kindest thing you could do. Deese nods once and steels himself. With a clean cut, he slices through the neck of the Hawkeye. It tenses, twitching in fear reflex, then goes limp in his arms. Deese is quiet at your side for a long time, breathing evenly in through his nose and out through his mouth like he's meditating. It's better to die quickly than suffer in a trap, but there shouldn't have been a trap in the first place, he says, eventually. He clicks his tongue against his teeth. It's pointless. It's going to die eventually, but not here. It's not natural. It's not the death part that bothers me, it's our vanity. Humans are so afraid of extinction that they'll kill indiscriminately to avoid it. Deese takes out a cloth and wipes the Hawkeye's blood off his blade, his movements slow and reverent. I used to let it control me too. I thought dying meant that living was pointless, he continues, but now I know the truth. Life is short and brutal and hard. It's up to us to fill it with as many experiences as we can. Are we going to spend our lives cooped up in the colony, subjugating nature because it strikes fear into our animal brains? He smiles faintly. Or are we going to get out there and live the only life we've been given? He looks down at the corpse of the Hawkeye and lays his hand gently against its head. We're all going to end up like this in the end. There's no use denying it, and letting the fear of it control our actions. I agree. You're probably the only other person here who does, Deese replies. That's why we get along, I guess. Deese slips the Hawkeye's body into his arms and rises to his feet. The smell of death will attract animals right to the other traps, he says. I'm not taking it back to the colony to be stuffed into a recycler. We have to take it into the woods and give it back to nature. You and Deese walk further into the forest in a respectful silence. Deese is cradling the dead Hawkeye against his chest. Eventually he tells you to wait while he finds the tracks of a predator and lays it down nearby, an offering the forest accepts without acknowledgement. He returns to you, blood-stained and solemn. It's done, he says. You begin the walk back to the colony, though it's clear Deese is taking his time. After a few minutes of walking, he turns to you and grabs your arm, forcing you to stop and look at him. Yabby, he says, his eyes burning. Promise you won't let me end up like that Hawkeye. At your questioning look, he squeezes your arms to the point that it almost hurts. If I'm trapped here, just let me go, okay? I promise. Deese breathes a sigh in relief. Thank you, Yabby. He's gonna try and leave again, isn't he? He stares at you for a few unnerving seconds, perfectly still, before jerking into motion and fishing a pendant necklace from his clothes. He unclasps it from his neck and holds it out to you. Here, he says. You should have it. I want you to have it. Deese's secret. You turn and let him put it around your neck. The pendant is large and surprisingly light. You recognize it as a fragment of a unisar horn, its pearlescent color shimmering in the light. It's beautiful. I didn't make it, Deese replies. The unisar did. I just put it on a cord, but thank you. Deese regards you with a serious expression. You're the only person in this colony that I've ever really cared about, he says. I don't know why you bothered trying to be my friend when I was trying to push everyone away. His mouth bends into a shy little smile. Thank you for sticking with it, he says softly. You don't know how much I appreciate having a friend here. He steps away and looks down at the ground, suddenly evasive. Listen, I don't know how much longer I have left here, he says softly. I just want you to know that I want to spend the time I do have with you. Oh, you are gonna leave, aren't you? We're at 100. Oh, Deese. I can't blame him, but Deese. Let's grant his request then. Let's relax on the walls with Deese. I should have flirted with him when I had the chance. Relax on the walls. You and Deese have the kind of conversations that are impossible to describe afterwards. You talk about everything and nothing. What you'll think you'll be doing in 10 years? What are the best and worst parts about being alive? Is human nature fixed, or is it a product of society? Are emotions necessary for survival, or do they just get in the way? Deese has some surprising opinions. You find yourself enjoying talking to him, even if he is a little intense. Aww. Alright, it's glow. And you know what that means? It's time to sneak out. Just double check. There has to be a way out. Okay, so I did a little Googling, and unfortunately it looks like the only way to sneak out during glow is we have to finish everything in the ridges first, which I didn't think of. I didn't know that was the thing, so we can't do it right now. I hope we could do it next year. But for now, I guess, what can I do? Maybe I should do more toughness, or I'm gonna work in, what does the farm do? We just unlocked that. Tend to the animals, work on the farm. Farm gives biology and toughness, so that could be good. Tend to the animals, though. We're very close to getting that final perk. What are we at? 86. Let's tend to the animals. The geophonics domes are a comforting beacon of light during glow. While everything else is throwing off an unsettlingly alien light, the domes are stable, dependable, human. You like spending time in them, tending to the seedlings that will be transplanted into the fields and pollen. Alright, let's see what we can do. I'm a little nervous about whatever's gonna happen. Oh. Oh god, that's a bad card. There we go. Alright, let's see what happens. You're just putting your boots up to grab dinner in the lounge when you hear the colony's sirens beginning to wail. It's the yearly attack. Ugh, they couldn't have waited until you ate dinner? Rude. Outside your window, you watch the colony defense begin to mobilize. Your holopalm chimes with the usual reminders for all civilians to stay indoors. I'm not listening. You head to the garrison to grab a blast rifle, then report to the front. Chief Rhett looks surprised to see you, but assigns you to a squad with Nem and tells you to get up on the walls and do your best. On the other side of the walls is more Xenos than you've seen in one place ever. They seethe out of the forest, large and small, herbivorous and predatory, fungal and otherwise, flying and crawling and hopping towards the colony with a single-minded determination. The air fills with the pew-pew of laser turrets and the crackle of blast rifles. The enemy's front line collapses, only to be replaced with even more Xenos, just as many as before, if not more. There's no end to it. The firebreak turns into a graveyard of dead and dying alien bodies, wave after wave crawling over the corpses until they roil at the base of the walls like a foam on a wave when it hits the shore. You can hear the walls creaking underneath you, but they hold strong. There's no sun to set in glow, but night falls on the battlefield without any break in the fighting. Your fingers begin to cramp from pulling the trigger of your blast rifle. Finally, you're relieved by the second guard shift. You walk straight into the garrison and right into a dreamless sleep. You're awoken 6 hours later for your next shift. The kitchen has provided the soldiers with pressed soy rations and hot blep tea, which you grab, then make your way back to the walls to survey the carnage of the night. As you arrive, your holopalm lights up with a priority message. Security personnel, we're under siege, the security chief says, getting right to the point. On Earth, sieges were used to break a city by starvation or drought. We have plenty of food or water. Guards will rotate 6 hours on, 6 off. So as long as we keep the Xenos on the other side of the wall, we can hold them off for days, weeks even. Weeks? Everyone exchanged exhausted looks. He pauses, then adds, we can do this. We're stronger than them, and we're not going anywhere. Maybe we should. You and the other soldiers fall into a fitful rhythm, alternating shifts on the wall with brief snippets of sleep. Gunfire becomes the soundtrack of your days, which begin to smear together like paste. Nem in particular is suffering. She volunteers for relief shifts, sometimes pulling doubles or triples on the wall. You catch her mechanically shoveling soy porridge into their mouth before seeming to fall asleep sitting up. A minute later, she jolts awake as someone's spoon clatters against their bowl. Tempers grow short as fatigue sets in. 6 days pass. You're on shift, watching the Xenos batter themselves against the wall. You feel your eyes unfocused at the sheer formless horde of them. In all of these days, they haven't breached the colony. Sometimes they even retreat, ebbing backwards and reforming somewhere else. It's behavior you've never seen before. A group of monsters breaks from the tree line. Nothing new except for one of them. One of the Xenos looks different from the others. Almost humanoid. What is that thing? The creature looks suspiciously like a person, at least from the waist up. Down below, it's a lumbering chimera vaguely reminiscent of a faceless, wrapped in tattered bits of flesh and bony protrusions. Something like hair flutters behind as it looks right at you with an unnerving, malevolent intelligence. You rub your eyes. Yeah, it's still there. It approaches the base of the wall, and the other monsters surge forward to try and pound against the gates. Is this Sim's true form? Because the hair, look at the hair, it looks like Sim. Is this a gardener? Talk to it. You wave to it and the creature sneers and to your surprise, approaches the wall. Little weed. They address you in a halting, rasping voice. Everything seems to go quiet nearby as you strain to understand this talking horror. Child of breeding rabbits, feral pig, kudzu. It unnervingly human gaze pierces at you. Introduce species. You understand? You wonder if you're hallucinating. Is it holding a gun? You nod slowly, yes. You understand the words at least. Oh no! I was warned about you! I am noctilucent, the monster says through a voice box that seems better suited to guttural roars than human language. A gardener. Designation, pest control. I perform my task, unlike gardener symbiosis. Sim. Yes. Now that they're standing still, you can see the seed of Sim's slightly inhuman features staring back at you. Their hair is a bit like Sim's as well, as if it's actually alive somehow, waving in a wind that isn't there. What do you want? Who are you talking to? You jump back as Nem sneaks up behind you, and when you look back, Noctilucent is gone. Nobody? You shake your head and mumble something about needing sleep. You promise Sim you wouldn't talk about the gardeners. She nods and pats your shoulder. The siege is getting to everyone, Yabby, it's okay. Finally, after the 6th day of the siege, you look down the sights of your blast rifles and see a curious thing. The monsters are retreating. As you gather with the other soldiers in the colony square, your holopalm lights up with a priority announcement from Governor Lum. The alien attackers have been defeated, he says. The siege has ended. Lum smiles broadly and puffs out his chest. Another year, another win. You're welcome, Vertumna. You're welcome, humanity. I don't think we won, dude. I think they just left. You're welcome, you hear, and see Chief Rhett nearby, looking livid. What did he do? He rants to his security officers. Race out there like an idiot with his honor guard, defend strategically unsound positions, put himself in danger so he had to save his overstuffed ass? The soldiers all shift uncomfortably, but no one disagrees. And when I actually needed him, Rhett continues, taking his 12-hour beauty rest while the rest of us slog through endless shifts. The soldiers are exhausted from the siege, so in the crowd, the square disperses quickly. Only a few Helios remain, covertly filming Rhett while he continues to rail against Lum. Oh no. On the horizon, the first waves of Cryet streak the sky with lavender. You watch Utopia's reclamation crew head out through the gates to begin vaporizing Xeno courses for their component molecules. That night, you have terrible dreams. You imagine that you're sieging the colony, that you're a creature crawling in the mud on your belly, the ozone crackle of blast rifle arching overhead. With your talon claws, you rip into the walls like they're made of clay, stuffing choking handfuls of it into your mouth. In a moment of lucidity, you try to pull the clay from your throat, but no matter how much you pull, it never ends. You jolt awake when you realize you've been pulling your own guts out of your throat. Just a dream. You're shaking and coated with a film of terror sweat, your heart pounding. You don't find sleep again before dawnbreak. Oh God! Oh no! What a glow! That was terrifying. But that's the first time we've seen another gardener. Oh, we're 18. Oh God, I'm worried. I need to get out during glow. We've got to do it. So we got to go to the ridge, from what I understand. At least that's what it said. Hopefully that's what it is. I guess we'll find out in time. But until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourselves, watch out for the gardeners, and have a good day.